So I thought today we would try to do a set of dice that I've been wanting to make for a while. We're going to experiment with, and I'm going to butcher this name, Kintsugi or Kintsugi. I've also heard it called orification, but that might just be something else. Basically, the idea is, it is an old Japanese tradition of repairing broken pottery with gold. I figured we would try to apply that to dice. So I have a set of dice that I was making for a roommate. They are some Pan Pride flag dice, and they are just fresh out of the pot. I've just trimmed the sprue on them. I've not polished or anything, because that doesn't need to be done quite yet, because we're actually going to recast these, and that's kind of the idea. So there are a couple of different ways I'm going to try to do this. The first thing, though, is going to be to break these dice. And originally I had toyed around with the idea of just smashing them with a hammer. I might come back to doing that, but I think for this, I want a more controlled destruction. So I'm going to take my Dremel and actually just carve into the dice almost to a breaking point. I don't think I'm actually going to go through the dice, but so I've just got a Dremel 200 series with I think it's just a rotary cutter. I don't know. Basically, we're just going to carve into the dice just to first get our breaks. And this thing's loud, so enjoy the background music while I do this. Should say as well, if you're going to do this, get some type of mask, because this is going to kick off a lot of dust that you really don't want to breathe. You can see with just that first cut, that's kind of what we're going for. Cut straight through the 8. Alrighty, so I did say that I had a couple of different ways that I wanted to take care of these. And as you can see, now they're all very much broken and damaged. And I'm sure there's some metaphor going on with the whole Pan Pride and broken and repairing with gold. But I'll let you be the judge of that. These are being made for a roommate who she wanted a straight set of pan dice. And I was just like, well, I could do that, or what if I did this instead? I made the dice and I told her I was going to hit them with a hammer, and then she started squeaking. And before I get into the prep work for the dice, I'm going to be mixing some resin. It's some Total Boat resin. It is 1:1 by volume. This is their tabletop clear resin, kind of like a finishing resin. So I'll be mixing this resin up and then transferring this into a new container. So a couple of different ways that I'm going to be trying this. And I'm not sure which way is going to look the best or work the best. So we're going to just do a couple of different... I've got 7 dice to work with. And 2 or 3 different ways. Actually, probably just going to stick with 2. One of the thoughts that I had was to try to just pour resin powder into the cracks of the dice, and I don't think that's gonna really work. The more I think about it in my head, the more I'm just like, yeah, it's probably not gonna do what I want it to do. But the first one that I had is I have some 24 karat gold leaf, or leafing foil. You can get this on Amazon. This stuff's actually really cheap, considering it's gold, because there's like nothing here. But I want to get a bit of gold out. And I've got a toothpick as well. That should be well more than enough. And then for some of these, how's that gonna stick is the thing. It may not stick, and this may, because this is my original idea with this, was to just put gold leaf in here and just try to get it to stick into these cracks. That would have been, well, you know what? Actually, as long as I can take the toothpick and just push that in, that actually might work. So as much as I like that, it is not wanting to cooperate a lot. Well, in that case, gloves. This is going to get messy. Also, parchment paper, because this is going to get really messy. So, that bit of pre-mixed resin that we have, what I'm going to try now is toothpick. I'm actually going to try to just push some resin into here. Taking the gold and putting it in the cracks where it wants to go as well. I'm probably going to get gold in the numbers. It wasn't what I wanted, but I'm not horribly off put by it. And we'll see if we can't actually fix that as well. Put the gold down. Once you pick the gold up, you cannot put the gold down. And then the gold that is in places where it shouldn't be on the dice will just get polished away. But I think there we got kind of a good base for getting these done. And then we'll do the other ones the way that I'm going to do those. Yep. Those are words. Okay, so we've got those 4 done in the first method. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to, and this is where we're going to get a bit messy. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and force as much resin into these as we can. So this is where this is going to get really messy. And I recommend having either some parchment paper or what I have is a silicone liner in my pressure pot. Because it's going to get messy. So, and we want to make sure this gets everywhere. So you definitely want to kind of get under the dice and just try to get resin in everywhere. And this is likely going to overflow, and that's okay. That's what I kind of want, is I want it to overflow. That's why I wear gloves, because this is one of the situations where coming in contact with resin is a very high risk and almost a certainty, and one of the ones where I definitely would not do this without wearing gloves. I wear nitrile gloves. Nitrile does not decay in the presence of resin. Decay might be the wrong word, but it doesn't, they're not going to dissolve. Some gloves will dissolve in resin, so make sure that you do your research. I know nitrile is safe, so that's my recommendation. We're going to do dash coriander. Nope, instead of dash coriander. Gold! Well, whatever. I'm beautiful. Fill with gold. Now, this one, what I expect is going to happen is these dice are going to come out covered in gold. So we're going to have to do a bit of post work to get these to come back to where I want them. And that is, we're just going to be removing quite a bit of material. But that's okay. So again, so what I'm going to do now, and especially because these already have dice in them, so there's no chance of these really getting squished or anything. I'm going to strap some rubber bands to them so that stops them from expanding. And then I can feel that I'm coming to the end of the work time on these. So I need to quickly get these in the pot at 3 bar overnight, and we will come back tomorrow. We got these out and rough polished, got the sprue removed. I need to patch that a little bit. So we got ones where the gold inlay and with just gold resin. So I'm going to go ahead and bring either Zona paper, polish these up to glass. Yeah, then get them painted. Alright, so we got these all the way up to Zona Pink, so I think that was a pretty good time to stop and paint these before moving on. I've got 2 more levels of Zona to go through, and we'll use those just to clean the dice up afterwards. So what we're going to be using for the paint is this Army Painter War Painter Matte White. White just seemed like the right paint to use here. I didn't really want any other colors to kind of interfere. I had debated about going with gold, but I feel like gold will kind of detract from what we're doing. So I want the gold in the dice to actually stand out. So I'm gonna go ahead and shake this up. Gonna wanna do our kind of pushing and pulling method of painting, where we just put paint wherever we want and then wipe away the excess. So just as an experiment with these, I actually decided to, instead of doing strictly push and pull, but finger painting method, just to see if I like that better. And actually it's a lot faster. I guess pretty much the same results. So, you know, if you don't care about getting a little bit messy, just finger paint. Grab fingers, just rub over each side, make sure you get the color in there. Just anything you can do to get that paint in. So after I pass over the Zona Aqua, these should all be nice and clean. Good. All right, 2 more levels of Zona and these dice will be finished. Here they are in their broken but restored glory. Ooh, if my camera will focus on some of them. Trying to get some of the finer details where you can see the difference between the two. The D8 has the gold flaking, where the D20 has gold. But yeah, they came out very nicely. And the D6 has the gold leafing as well. They came out very nicely though. So let me know which one of these styles you think look the best. If you prefer the gold, or if you prefer the gold resin or the gold leaf, let me know down below. And if you do enjoy that and you want to see more content like this, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, share it with your friends. One of my future videos, just as an announcement, I will be doing a giveaway of a set of dice. Got more in the works on that upcoming, but for now, that's all we have time for. Ta-ra.